In the heart of a bustling African village nestled between rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a woman named Cami. Despite the vibrancy of her surroundings, Cami bore a heavy burden that weighed upon her spirit, a nightly visitor that haunted her dreams. Each night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Cami would feel a presence, an unseen force that would invade her sleep. She would awaken with a start, her heart racing, her body drenched in sweat, and a lingering sense of dread hanging in the air. Try as she might, Cami could not shake the feeling that she was not alone in her bed. At first, she dismissed these experiences as mere nightmares, the product of an overactive imagination. But as the nights passed, the visits grew more frequent, more intense, until Cami could no longer deny the truth: she was being visited by a spiritual husband. In her village, tales of spiritual husbands were whispered in hushed tones, spoken of with fear and reverence. They were said to be malevolent spirits, entities that sought to possess and control the souls of unsuspecting mortals, especially women. Cami's heart sank as she realized that she had become entangled in the grasp of one such spirit. Terrified and alone, Cami sought counsel from the village elders, hoping they could offer her some solace, some solution to her plight. But their words offered little comfort, for they spoke of the spiritual husband as a powerful force beyond mortal understanding, a force that could only be confronted by one with the strength and knowledge to challenge it. Desperate for relief, Cami turned to the only beacon of hope she could find, the powerful pastor, Reverend Olu. Reverend Olu was known throughout the land for his unwavering faith and his ability to confront and banish malevolent spirits. With trembling hands and a heavy heart, Cami sought an audience with him, praying that he could offer her the salvation she so desperately sought. When Cami arrived at Reverend Olu's humble abode, she found him deep in prayer, his voice a soothing balm amidst the chaos of her troubled mind. With tears streaming down her face, she recounted her harrowing experiences, laying bare the depths of her torment and the anguish that consumed her soul. Reverend Olu listened intently, his eyes alight with empathy and compassion. He could sense the fear that gripped Cami's heart, but he also sensed something else, an unwavering faith, a flicker of hope that burned bright even in the darkest of nights. "My child," Reverend Olu began, his voice gentle yet resolute, "you have come to the right place. For I am a servant of the Almighty, and I have been called to confront the forces of darkness and bring light where there is only shadow." With those words, Reverend Olu began to pray, his voice rising in fervor and intensity as he invoked the power of the divine. Cami watched in awe as his words seemed to pierce the very fabric of reality, reaching out to the unseen realms beyond. For days and nights, Reverend Olu prayed without ceasing, fasting and seeking guidance from the heavens above. And with each passing moment, Cami could feel the grip of her spiritual husband weakening, its hold on her soul growing ever more tenuous. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. Under the cover of darkness, when the veil between the worlds was at its thinnest, Reverend Olu led Cami to a secluded clearing deep in the heart of the forest. There, surrounded by the whispering trees and the gentle rustle of the wind, they prepared for the final confrontation with the spiritual husband. As they stood together, hand in hand, Cami felt a surge of courage coursing through her veins. She knew that whatever lay ahead, she was not alone, for the light of Reverend Olu's faith burned bright within her, illuminating the darkness that had clouded her soul for so long. And then, it came, the spiritual husband, appearing before them in a swirling maelstrom of shadow and malice. Its eyes burned with an otherworldly fire, its form twisted and grotesque, a twisted parody of human desire. But Reverend Olu did not flinch. With a voice that rang out like thunder, he confronted the spiritual husband, his words a powerful invocation of divine authority. Kemi watched in awe as the very air around them seemed to crackle with energy, the forces of light and darkness locked in a fierce and primal struggle. In that moment, Kemi knew that victory was within reach. With every fiber of her being, she called upon the strength of her faith, channeling the power of the divine to aid her in her hour of need. And then, in a blinding flash of light, it was over. The spiritual husband let out a deafening howl of defeat, its form dissolving into nothingness as the forces of light banished it from the mortal realm forever. Kemi collapsed to her knees, tears of joy streaming down her face as she realized that she was free. At long last, she was free from the torment that had haunted her for so long. And beside her, Reverend Olu smiled, his eyes shining with pride and satisfaction. "Go forth, my child," he said, his voice gentle yet firm, "and may the light of the divine guide your steps always." With a heart full of gratitude, Kemi rose to her feet, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. For she knew that no matter what darkness may come, she would always carry within her the light of faith, a beacon of hope that would never be extinguished.